What up, hookers? Have you guys seen this documentary, The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, that's on TV now? How did I miss this? How did I miss this happening years ago? This is a story from back in I don't know, 3 4 years ago, and it was pretty big all over the news. And somehow I didn't know anything about it. And now this documentary is coming out, and it's blowing my mind.
You're gonna get the truth. I will pre-warn you, you might not like the truth.
It's absolutely ridiculous, is what it is.
We were in a very tight-knit family. April 26th, 2010, that's the day that we adopted Natalia. She's not 6.
She was an adult. You could just tell. And I'm like, whoa.
She threatened to stab my sons.
I definitely didn't feel safe around Natalia.
You've adopted a kid and now they're trying to kill you. I mean, it's the stuff of a horror movie.
She tried to poison and kill my wife. One night, I opened my eyes and Natalia is standing at the foot of the bed with a knife in her hand.
They've got this little girl, and they have convinced people that she is a grown psychopath trying to kill the family. I don't know. I mean, there is a chance this is a grown-up, though, like, because in the documentary, it's just told through the eyes of Michael, the dad in the family, and it's absolutely crazy. So, start over. So this family, the Barnetts, they adopt a little girl from Ukraine named Natalia, and she is a 6-year-old dwarf with scoliosis and probably some more medical problems that they were just afraid that nobody would love as much as them, so they adopted her. Obviously, they're really good people, right? No, they're horrible people. See, after they adopted her, they quickly found that she was a 20-year-old psychopath hell-bent on their destruction. Or they assumed that when they went to give her a bath and they saw pubic hair. I understand a 6-year-old's not supposed to have pubic hair. She has medical issues and probably some hormonal problems, and you freaked out.
Got this look on her face. She's white as a ghost. She's scared. And she just says, look.
That doesn't make any sense. And shortly after that, she finds spotting on her clothes, or what she thinks is spotting, and then she just assumes the little girl is having her period and not telling anybody about it. And now she knows she's a grown-up, and now they don't know what to do. So she just starts making her life a living hell. And when all this is going on, Michael Barnett is a freaking dipshit. I don't even know. This guy, his go-to emotion is just anger.
Ow.
So according to Michael, shortly after they discovered her secret and the jig was up, she started threatening the family, talking about how she was going to kill the kids. He woke up one night and she was standing at the edge of the bed with a knife. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But, here's the deal. So they say they were convinced that she was an adult. But what I think is that they adopted a little girl that had some medical issues. She was hard to deal with, a lot harder than their kids. They didn't want to deal with her. They have an older son that's autistic, and he is a genius. My cat. He got offered to go to school in Canada to get his master's degree, and he's in high school, so he had to take that chance. They, of course, want to go with him. So what they do is they go and they have her re-aged. Somehow they got a doctor. After finding several doctors that just disagreed, they found a doctor that would agree that she's definitely older than what she says she is by many, many years. And they said, boom, you're 22. The courts accepted it, and she's now legally, she was legally over 21 when they had adopted her. How crazy is that? So what they did was they got her an apartment. They paid a year's rent ahead of time, and they just dropped her off and headed out to Canada.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So legitimately, they had this little girl. See, that's the thing. Is like, my mind says that's a little girl. It looks like a little girl. I mean, there's even pictures of her with baby teeth before they ever adopted her. But they dropped her off at this apartment for like a year, and she lived by herself. Can an 8-year-old do that? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me, and that's the thing. It's like, maybe she is manipulative. Maybe she is really evil. I mean, when she lived in that apartment, the neighbors hated her. They dreaded seeing her every day. They are convinced that she was a grown-up.
I was going to the mailbox and I said, well, honey, do you need some help?
And I said, "Where's your mom?" And she turned around and she said, "I'm 22. I expected her to have, young, but she's not. She was an adult. You could tell by looking at her."
Maybe she is a grown up, right? Like, why would she lie about that? But then again, the Barnetts, super wealthy. They are incredibly wealthy. And they say the adoption agency out of Florida, Adoption by Shepherd Care, is the one that called them, straight up just called them and said that you have 24 hours to adopt this little girl or she's going to foster care. That doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? Why would they call you? And I know for a fact they didn't, because on their Facebook page, they have a big, long article about how they didn't. And I'm pretty sure they're seeking legal action. So, I don't know why he lied about what happened. Maybe they adopted her through other channels, and then maybe that's why they automatically assume that something's up. I do know they were going to adopt a kid from Haiti, and something happened, and that fell through. And then directly after that, they snatched Natalia up. So maybe there's more to it. There's more to it. I don't know. I can't go over all this step by step. This is like a fucking 6-part series, and every part of it is just jumbled up. Like, I don't know what's first and what's last. All I know is that little girl possibly could be a sociopath, or she could be just a little girl that somehow survived in an apartment for a year. Now, I mean, she wasn't completely alone. He did come back. He did buy her food. She has food stamps, but she did go to school to get her GED. So I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. I mean, like, it doesn't make any sense. And the fact that they were scared of her, or she supposedly was threatening the family. I mean, she told him that she was gonna kill the boys or stab them in their sleep, and I'm sorry, but if I had a dwarf living at my house, or any child, and I was afraid they were going to stab me, I would definitely lock the doors. That'd be the first thing I would do, is lock the doors. And then probably if I woke up and they were there, I would just throw my sheet over the top of them, snatch them up, tote them outside, and chunk them in the yard. Because I ain't going to play that shit, man. I'm not scared of somebody I can pick up and throw. You shouldn't be. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't throw a child. But if she's trying to stab me, I'm going to kick her. I'm going to straight up kick that kid. So she starts up enough trouble at that apartment that after the lease is up, they put her in a place that's a little more junky.
Her mother saw the city as a white trash town where nobody would notice.
And while she's staying at her second apartment, she meets a family that decides to take her in and still has her to this day. They say that she's never caused any problems. So that family kicks up some trouble, and the Barnetts quickly get arrested for abandonment. Michael Barnett, the extremely wealthy, crazed maniac that he is, he somehow gets off. Since the court already ruled that she was an adult, they couldn't bring that up in court. They couldn't talk about her age or what had happened or the fact that she was from the Ukraine. All they could say to the jury is, do you think that Michael Barnett abandoned his adult daughter? And of course, she's a grown-up. They don't know any other information other than he got her an apartment, he fed her, and he ditched, went to Canada, but she was a grown-up. So they let him off, and they couldn't find out the truth about her until later. So after Michael beats the system, he kind of breaks down and tells everybody about the abuse that Christine put him through and all the kids through, and that still puts the kids through to this day. Apparently, she is an abusive psychopath that used to abuse the girl. She used to abuse him.
I couldn't stand up to that woman.
Not physically abusing him, but withholding sex, because I guess he's a sex-crazed maniac. And then he got, addicted to porn.
I get a wee bit addicted to pornography.
She started cheating on him, or she had been cheating on him the whole time, and they got a divorce. This Natalia thing, he blames her for ruining his whole life. And, in reality, they just adopted a kid. They probably adopted her, through some kind of black market adoption agency or something, and they just kind of got screwed. They didn't want the girl after they adopted her, and it is what it is. They had a daycare and a nonprofit organization, and they were pretty wealthy, so I think they thought it wasn't going to be much of a challenge. But when you adopt somebody with medical issues, those medical issues have to be dealt with. And these are physical issues. This requires surgery and therapy and all kinds of craziness. And they just didn't want to deal with it. They talked a doctor into re-aging her. None of it made any sense. It still doesn't make any sense because you still have to look at the facts that, you know, she might be a little kid. She looked like a little kid. She obviously has grown. Her Dr. Phil interview, she obviously is older than she was when they adopted her. I mean, obviously, but she could be 30. You don't know that. You don't know. You know, it's just absolutely crazy. I think she's a child. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to say it right now. I think she's a child. I think they abandoned this girl so they can go and live their life. I think that Christine is a maniac. She's absolutely crazy. She tortured this little girl. She used to make the little girl stand against the wall for hours and hours on end, all day long. She wouldn't let her go to the bathroom. She wouldn't let her talk. She wouldn't let her do anything but stand there with her head against the wall.
Natalia, look at me. Look at me. Natalia. 2 minutes. Okay, so it's hurting you that bad in 2 minutes? All right, well, you still need to be on your wall.
The little girl had to soil herself and cry and sit there in pain because her legs, she's handicapped. She can't stand there that long. But Christine she was very adamant about the girl being a psychopath, an adult, you know. And since that movie Orphan did come out right before that, I think she's just crazy. She's just projecting that on the little girl somehow. I don't know. This is some Tiger King level shit for real. Why are they afraid of her? That's what I don't get. You could just get away from her. Just run. I think the moral of the story is dwarfs should register so we know how old they are and we can control the dwarf population. And always remember, don't hate each other. Hate yourself.
You are an evil psychopath demon child that's come over here to murder everybody.